Imagine opening your eyes on what seems like a perfectly ordinary morning. The sun is shining. Birds are singing. Children are laughing in the streets. Merchants are opening their shops. And families are preparing for another normal day. Nothing feels unusual. Nothing feels dangerous. But then, everything changes. Within minutes, the sky fills with smoke. Buildings collapse. People begin running in every direction. Some are desperately searching for their families, while others have no idea what is happening around them. Fear spreads faster than words ever could. By sunset, thousands of people are gone. By the end of a week, entire cities have become unrecognizable. Throughout history, humanity has experienced countless wars, deadly diseases, terrifying natural disasters, and unimaginable tragedies. Every generation has faced challenges that seemed impossible to survive. But one question continues to fascinate historians and scientists alike. What was the worst day in human history? The answer may surprise you. Let's begin nearly 700 years ago. In the year 1347, merchant ships sailed into European ports after long journeys across Asia. They looked completely ordinary. Their cargo included silk, spices, food, and valuable goods. But hidden deep inside those ships was something far more dangerous than pirates or enemy soldiers. Tiny fleas living on black rats carried a deadly bacterium that would soon change the course of history. At first, only a few people became sick. They developed painful black swellings beneath their skin. Their bodies burned with fever. Within days, many of them died. No one understood why. Doctors believed the disease came from poisonous air. Others thought it was a punishment from God. Some even blamed innocent neighbors, creating fear and violence alongside the sickness itself. Soon, every road leading into a city became another path for death. Entire families disappeared within a single week. Church bells rang almost constantly for funerals. There were not enough priests to perform ceremonies. There were not enough gravediggers to bury the dead. In some places, bodies remained in the streets because no one was left alive to move them. This catastrophe became known as the Black Death. Historians estimate that between 25 and 50 million people died in Europe alone. Millions more lost their lives across Asia and the Middle East. Imagine living in a world where nearly 1 out of every 3 people suddenly vanished. Neighbors disappeared. Friends disappeared. Entire villages disappeared. Many believed humanity had reached its final days. Yet somehow, civilization survived. Centuries passed. Science advanced. Cities grew larger. People believed they had finally conquered nature. But history had another surprise waiting. The year was 1918. The First World War was finally ending after years of unimaginable destruction. Soldiers returned home hoping to rebuild their lives. Instead, they unknowingly carried something far more dangerous than weapons. A new virus. At first, it seemed like nothing more than an ordinary flu. People coughed. They developed fevers. Doctors expected them to recover. Instead, many became critically ill within hours. Hospitals filled beyond capacity. Doctors worked day and night without effective medicine. Entire schools closed. Factories shut down. Even healthy young adults, people expected to survive, began dying in shocking numbers. This pandemic became known as the Spanish flu. Unlike many previous outbreaks, this virus spread across nearly every continent. There were no airplanes carrying thousands of passengers each day, Yet the disease still reached almost every corner of the world. By the time it finally disappeared, around 50 million people had died. Some estimates suggest the number may have been even higher. It remains one of the deadliest pandemics in recorded history. Humanity recovered once again, but only a few decades later, another terrifying chapter began. It was the morning of August 6th, 1945. The Japanese city of Hiroshima looked peaceful. Workers were heading toward their offices. Children were walking to school. Streetcars moved through busy roads. At exactly 8:15 in the morning, a single American bomber released one bomb. 43 seconds later, a blinding flash lit up the sky. The temperature near the explosion became hotter than the surface of the sun. Buildings instantly vanished. Thousands of people disappeared before they even realized what had happened. A massive shockwave destroyed nearly everything in its path. Fires spread throughout the city. Those who survived faced severe burns, radiation sickness, and lifelong health problems. 3 days later, another atomic bomb struck Nagasaki. For the first time in history, humanity had witnessed the true power of nuclear weapons. The world realized something terrifying. Human beings now possessed the ability to destroy entire cities in just a few seconds. That fear still exists today, but perhaps the greatest disaster in Earth's history happened long before humans ever existed. Around 66 million years ago, a giant asteroid, roughly 10 kilometers across, raced toward Earth at incredible speed. There was no warning, no chance to escape. When it struck near what is now Mexico, the explosion released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs combined. The ground shook across the planet. Gigantic tsunamis swept across oceans. Wildfires spread over entire continents. Then came something even worse. Dust and ash covered the atmosphere, blocking sunlight for months, perhaps even years. Without sunlight, plants died. Without plants, animals starved. Food chains collapsed. Within a relatively short period of time, around 75% of all species on Earth disappeared, including nearly every dinosaur. If modern human civilization had existed during that impact, our cities, technology, and perhaps even our entire species would almost certainly have vanished. So, which of these disasters deserves the title of the worst day in human history? The Black Death destroyed families and changed medieval society forever. The Spanish flu proved that even invisible viruses can threaten the entire planet. Hiroshima showed that humanity could create weapons capable of unimaginable destruction. The asteroid impact completely transformed life on Earth itself. Each tragedy represents a different kind of horror. Some lasted for years. Some happened in seconds. Some were caused by nature. Others were created by human hands. Perhaps asking for one single worst day misses the deeper lesson. History teaches us that civilization is far more fragile than we often believe. The cities we build, the technology we depend on, the peaceful lives we enjoy. Everything can change far faster than anyone expects. Yet, there is another side to this story. Every disaster also revealed something extraordinary. People risked their own lives to save strangers. Doctors continued working, even when they knew they might become infected. Firefighters entered burning cities instead of running away. Scientists dedicated years of their lives to finding cures and preventing future tragedies. Again and again, humanity proved that even in its darkest moments, hope never completely disappears. Maybe the greatest story in history is not about the disasters themselves. Maybe It is about the people who refuse to give up after them. So, what do you think was the worst day in human history? Was it the day disease emptied entire cities? The day the first atomic bomb exploded? Or the day an asteroid changed life on Earth forever? Whatever your answer may be, one thing is certain. History is not just a collection of dates and events. It is a reminder that every ordinary day we wake up to may be far more precious than we realize. Because no one ever knows, when the next ordinary morning might become a day the world will never forget.